the dietitian and welcome to Healthy Made Simple, where I show you how to make healthy eating simple. In this video, I'm going to be sharing 4 quick and easy healthy dinners that require minimal cooking. Now, these are my go-tos for those nights where I am feeling either too lazy, I don't have the energy or the time to cook a whole meal from scratch. I don't have anything prepped and made ahead of time, but I still want to make something that's going to be a homemade, healthy dinner for my family. Because let's face it, trying to order out food is going to take most likely just as much time and effort. And plus, nowadays it's so expensive to eat out that I like to have some homemade healthy options that I can put together on hand that really don't require a lot of cooking. So if you're looking for ideas like this, stay tuned for these 4 quick and easy healthy dinners that require minimal cooking. Let's go! Alrighty, the first dinner idea I have is chicken skewers, pita, and side salad. Now, for the chicken skewers, I'm going to be using these ones from Costco. You can't see the label here, but this was a 2-pack, so this is one of the 2 packs, and these are pre-cooked chicken skewers that just need to be warmed up in the oven. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to preheat my oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. They're just going to go in there to warm through, and they'll be ready to go. I love options like this that are pre-cooked chicken options for those nights where I really don't have the time to make a protein from scratch. So I love using things like this that are going to give us a lean protein option without the hassle of cooking a chicken. So I'm going to stick these in the oven. They're going to cook for about 8 to 9 minutes and you're going to flip them halfway through. And while those are cooking in the oven, I'm going to make my Mediterranean Crunch Chopped Salad Kit. Now, this is one of my favorite salad kits, and you'll see me use a lot of salad kits on this channel because I love them. I think it's a really great, fun, and easy way of adding more vegetables to those weeknights where you really don't have a lot of time to cook veggies from scratch. And you want to do something that's going to also be delicious. I love that salad kits come with all the little fixings, you know, the crunchy bits that go in there, the dressing that goes in there, maybe some cheese that goes in there. And I like buying the big packs from Costco because one big pack is usually enough for us to have at least 2 meals out of it. So I can mix together half like I am doing here and use it for one meal and then save the rest for the next time. And if I were to buy all of these little fixings that go in there individually, I know I'm not going to use it in the long term. So having a salad kit like this makes it a lot easier for me to be able to add in more veggies that are going to be delicious. And there we go, the salad kit is ready. I'm also going to slice a tomato to keep on the side with this. If you have any cucumbers, it would also go great with this meal. So if you have any other cucumbers or any other raw veggies you want to add, good to go. Alrighty, let's put it all together. Now for my pita, I'm going to use these whole wheat pita pockets from Trader Joe's. Great way of being able to add in more fiber by picking the whole wheat option. And honestly, it tastes delicious. I wouldn't say it's on the drier side or anything like that. I think it tastes just as good as a white pita, but you get more fiber by being whole wheat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this in half so that I can still maintain that balance. Now, if I was really hungry, I would eat the whole pita, but this was one of those nights where I wasn't too hungry and I was trying to keep my carbs a little bit on the lower side, so I'm going to go with just half the pita. And anytime I'm doing a balanced plate, what I'm aiming for is about 1/4 of my plate to be my carbs, 1/4 of my plate to be my protein, and half vegetables, which is where my salad kit comes into play. The salad kit is going to be my veggies here. So let's get the salad added onto my plate to cover half of that plate. And trying to visualize it like that, having components that are going to go on your plate, makes it easier to make sure overall you get a balanced plate all together that is going to hit all the different components that we're trying to do without having to take out measuring cups to measure out, 1 cup of salad or 2 cups of salad. Make it simple for yourself by just visualizing it on your plate. And at the same time, my chicken skewers are ready, so I'm going to add that in that last 1/4 of my plate to make sure I get enough protein to make this a filling meal. And then I'm going to add in those cucumbers so that when I put together bites of my pita, my chicken, a little bit of, my tomato, not my cucumber. I was thinking of cucumbers, which would be great as well. And I'm going to use this vegan tzatziki dip, which is one of my favorites, as kind of a dipping, drizzling sauce to go with this whole balanced plate of pita, skewers, and salad on the side. All right, my idea number 2 for dinner is going to be pasta with cauliflower Alfredo and some meatballs. I'm going to start by boiling water for my pasta, and then we're going to move on to making the other items that are going to go into this dish, mainly using the microwave. I'm going to start with riced cauliflower. Now, this is the one that I get from Costco. It's going to come in individual bags that are microwavable, and there's the size of the bag. And it does give you a decent amount of cauliflower rice. Now, I don't use cauliflower rice like rice usually, but I find that it actually makes a delicious Alfredo sauce if you add in a little bit of butter, milk, and blend it up after it's been cooked. And instead of going through the trouble of trying to cook a whole cauliflower rice is so much easier. You stick it in the microwave for 8 minutes. And while I'm working on that, my water for my pasta had boiled, so I'm going to put my pasta in. I'm using whole wheat spaghetti from Trader Joe's. And of that bag that you saw, I'm using about half of that. Now, I found by the end that I probably could have put in a little bit more pasta. I ended up with a lot of sauce, so you can go with a little bit more pasta than this, but I'm just trying to keep the carbs on the lower side a little bit while also making sure I get enough veggies and protein. Now for my protein, I'm going to be using these frozen meatballs. These are from Costco as well, and these are going to go in the microwave to warm up. Now with an Alfredo sauce like this, chicken probably would have been a better option. So if you have chicken at home that you can add instead, I think that would work great. If you have turkey meatballs, that's an even better option because that's a leaner protein. But this was all I had at the time, and so I decided to just whip it together, and I'm going to microwave those meatballs to get ready as my protein. And at the time, my cauliflower rice is ready. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the cauliflower rice to my blender cup. And once that's in there, then I'm going to add in the rest of the ingredients and make this an Alfredo sauce that's going to get mixed in with my pasta and my meatballs that are in the microwave right now. So as you can see, I made a lot of cauliflower rice. It filled up pretty much my whole blender cup. Next, I'm going to add in 2 tablespoons of butter. I'm using vegan butter just because that's what we've gotten used to using with my son's dairy allergy, but regular butter would work just fine. And then I'm going to add in soy milk. Now that's our milk of choice because of my son's dairy allergy, but regular cow's milk will work as well. And then add in salt and pepper to taste, just to make sure it's seasoned well enough. You can always add in more later, but always good to add it while we're going to be doing the mixing. And once all my ingredients are in my blender cup, I'm going to close it up and I'm going to blend it to make my Alfredo. Now, this is one of the simplest ways that you can make an Alfredo, which is basically a veggie puree at this point. And there it is. Look at that. Doesn't that look like Alfredo sauce? It's basically cauliflower puree with some butter and milk, but it honestly does taste close to Alfredo. It looks like Alfredo. It's the consistency of it as well. So I'm going to add that in with my pasta now that my pasta has been cooked, and make sure my pasta gets cooked in that sauce too. So this is a great way of having a vegetable heavy dish without the vegetables being so present. Now I'm going to add in a half cup of that pasta water to my blender cup to make sure I get all of that sauce that's in there. I get every last bit. And this also helps thin it out a little bit because, as you might have noticed, the sauce is pretty thick. Now I'm going to mix all of that around, and I'm going to cook my pasta in that sauce for a little bit to make sure it absorbs the flavors. But if you are the kind of person that doesn't like seeing your vegetables, and I'm going to add in my meatballs to cook in there as well, but if you don't want to have big chunks of vegetables in there, but you're trying to increase your vegetable intake, blending the vegetables into your sauce is one of the easiest ways that you can increase your vegetable intake. And doing a creamy looking sauce like this really does kind of trick you into thinking that you're not really eating a vegetable heavy meal, even though this is pretty much all cauliflower in that sauce. I'm going to cook that for a few minutes just to let that sauce absorb. And there we go. It's pretty much ready. It's my pasta with my cauliflower Alfredo and my meatballs. And as I mentioned, if you do like chicken, maybe some grilled chicken pieces in there, that I think would be delicious too, kind of like a chicken Alfredo. But honestly, it was still good with the beef meatballs. It was good protein in there to make it an even more filling meal. And it also added a little bit of sodium since I did go a little lighter on the sodium with the sauce. And there we go. There's a bite of that pasta with the sauce. And once I add it to my bowl, I'm going to top it with some black pepper just to add a little extra seasoning on top. And this would be your chance to add in some more salt and pepper if you felt like it needed it. But I do try to keep the salt on the lower side as much as I can. But overall, this was a really delicious, healthy, and also easy meal for having whipped it up on a weeknight by just throwing, my veggies and a little bit of adding to my sauce into the blender and just mixing it all together. There we go. All right, my dinner idea number 3 is going to be a salmon burger with noodles and a side salad. Now for my noodles, I'm going to do these squiggly knife cut style noodles from Trader Joe's. I really love using these because they're higher in fiber, in protein. They're really filling noodles and they're a great easy option and they cook very quickly as well. Now for this, I'm going to use 2 packets. If you're maybe just cooking for yourself, 1 packet might be enough, but for our family, I'm going to go with 2. And for my protein, I'm going to do these Alaskan salmon burgers. I get these from Costco as well. These are one of my favorite ways of incorporating more salmon into our diet. Now I'm going to put these in the air fryer. I love how they turn out in the air fryer. They get a little crispy on the outside and they're still moist in the middle. They're going to go for 12 minutes and we're going to flip them halfway through. So I'm going to do 6 minutes, flip, and another 6. And for the side, I'm going to go with this queso crunch salad kit. Again, a side salad does not have to be a salad kit. If you wanted to put your own salad together at home, you absolutely could do that. But I'm just personally not too big on chopping up veggies at night on a weeknight when I'm already tired. So to me, this is easier. And especially on those nights where maybe I'm busy, it's easy for my husband to mix this together as well, where he can whip together the salad kit just to make sure we're still getting our veggies in at night. And this one's got a lot of little toppings in there. And again, just like with the first salad kit that I showed you, I'm going to do half of the bag. So I'm using half of the dressing and half of the other fixings that are going in there. And then I will save the rest for next time. Now, if you didn't want to do a salad kit, you can easily just chop up some lettuce, cucumbers, tomatoes, do a very simple vinaigrette at home, like lemon juice, with maybe some balsamic vinegar and olive oil. Something simple as a side salad would work just as well as a salad kit like this. All right, my pasta water is boiling, so I'm going to put my noodles in there, and it only needs to cook for 4 minutes, and then it'll be ready to go. And in the meantime, there we go. 6 minutes has been up, so I'm going to flip those salmon burgers to the other side and cook them through on the other side for another 6 minutes at 400 degrees, and they'll be ready soon. And there we go. Noodles are ready. And I'm going to use 1 packet of sauce. Now, I did pull out a couple pieces of noodles for my son, so it's not the full 2 bags, but the full 2 packs of sauce was a little bit too much sodium for our taste. So I went with just 1 pack, and you can see it was still enough to coat the whole thing through without it being soaked in sauce. So try to go a little bit less on the sauce if you can to help cut back on the sodium. All right, let's put our plate together. I got that quarter of my plate to be protein, which is going to be my salmon burger. And I love this everything seasoning with that from Flavor God. This is what we got from Costco. They actually had a sample of it just like this with the salmon burger and this seasoning. And we fell in love with it and we've been doing it since. So there's my protein. And then there's my carbs. I'm going to do a good big helping of noodles. And I know this is more than a quarter of my plate, more like a third of my plate, but these noodles are higher in protein. So I'm okay with going a little bit higher in terms of the carb content that's going into my food. All right, and the rest of my plate is going to be that salad kit to make sure I'm hitting the 3 components: protein, carbs, and veggies. And I do know that I'm getting some extra carbs from the dressing here, but this is actually a very high protein meal altogether. So nice, easy, simple option for a weeknight to be able to put together for your family to make it a nice, filling meal that's going to keep you full, hopefully until the next morning. Alrighty. That was dinner number 3. All right, the last one, dinner idea number 4 is going to be chicken sausage, broccoli, and rice bowl. And this was all going to be done pretty much in the microwave. For my rice, I'm going to do this frozen rice medley from Trader Joe's that has brown rice, red rice, and barley all mixed together. And as you can see, it's higher in fiber and protein, which is what I love going for with my carbs, to make sure, 1, that they're filling, 2, to help prevent that big blood sugar spike that happens with having just carbs by themselves. And that's a little pack of rice. I'd say 1 pack is really not a lot of rice, but if you're mixing it with other things, you can get by with 1 bag. For a family, you may need to do 2 bags, but this is going to go in the microwave. Just follow the instructions on the box, but it's going to go in for 3 minutes, which is a very simple process. And I love buying these anytime I go to Trader Joe's to have an easy option on hand. If you have a rice cooker at home, that might be an easy option for you, but I do not, so I prefer this instead. All right, and next I'm going to make my broccoli in the microwave too. This is the Costco pack, and this comes with microwavable bags. They're 1-pound bags, and there are 4 of them in this big pack. And that's going to go in the microwave, and that's going to be the veggie component of my meal. So this is where I'm going to make sure that half of my plate vegetables is going to come from. Broccoli, of course, is a great vegetable to be able to incorporate. There's many ways that you can cook broccoli. Steaming it is a great option if you have an easy way of steaming it to help retain the nutrients. But I love going for easy things like this, such as the frozen versions that you can pop in the microwave. This one's going in for 4.5 minutes, to have an easy option for those weeknights where the best you can do is throw some stuff in the microwave and put it all together. And then for my protein, I'm going to do these organic basil and cracked black pepper smoked chicken sausages. These are from Costco as well, and as you can see, they're a good source of protein, not a lot of sugar or anything in there, a little bit of fat, but not too terrible. Overall, a nice lean protein option, even though it is a processed product, and I do try to cut back on the process as much as possible, but nice simple option. All right, as you saw, I got my paper towel damp, and that's how I'm going to microwave these guys. I'm going to wrap my sausages in a damp paper towel, and then I'm going to stick that in the microwave. And I find that retains that moisture inside a lot better, so it doesn't dry out in the microwave. If you have a way of grilling, much better. I'm sure it'll taste better too, but for those nights when you're in a pinch, wrapping it in a damp paper towel and stick it in the microwave works really well. My broccoli is ready, so I will pull that out first, and then I'm going to put in my sausages next. And for those 3 sausages, I'm going to put it in for 1:15. So that's a very quick process to get some protein on your plate without a lot of effort. Really didn't take long to do that. All right, there's my rice that's ready. So I'm going to open that up. I'm going to pour that into a big bowl, and you'll notice this bowl was not big enough. So when you're doing this, pick a bigger bowl. You'll have much better luck with mixing everything together. But just to make sure I have good flavor and moisture added here, I'm going to use my vegan buttery sticks. As I mentioned earlier, I use vegan butter at home because of my son. He actually could have real butter now, but we just got in the habit of using it. We still have it around the house, so might as well. But regular butter or margarine works for this too. And I'm going to add in salt and pepper. And I suggest doing this step when your rice has just come out of the microwave and it's still piping hot, because your butter is going to melt a lot easier. My rice had set out for a couple minutes, so it took a little bit of time, but you just want to mix it together until that butter melts and gets incorporated in there, just so there's more moisture and flavor added into your rice base that's going in there. And a little bit of extra fat actually helps make it more filling. So fat is not the villain here. We can always add in more fat in a healthy way to make our food more filling. All right, our broccoli is ready. There is that broccoli, the frozen broccoli that's been cooked. And it's got a very similar taste to, I would say, a steamed broccoli. And of course, you can keep it in the microwave a little bit longer if you like it on the softer side. You're going to add in your cooked broccoli to this mix. Now, I would suggest, if you do have the time, to chop up your broccoli before you add it in. You can see these chunks are pretty big. Chopping them up smaller might be helpful with mixing it later. And I'm going to add in my everything seasoning, and I'm going to just coat that all around to make sure I have good flavor. You see, I'm adding a lot of vegetables here, and I want it to taste good. I'm not just trying to eat a bland bowl of vegetables here. I want this to be a delicious meal. When healthy food is delicious, you're more likely to keep coming back to it. So make it taste good to you. And for us, that everything seasoning works great. Now you're seeing me break apart the broccoli here because I found the pieces to be too big, but this is where I mean if you were to chop up the broccoli beforehand, this process would be a lot easier so that you can have smaller pieces of broccoli in there unless you don't mind the big pieces. And that's totally fine too. All right, my sausages have come out of the microwave. They're ready to go. So I'm going to chop these up. I'm going to slice them up into little rings to be able to throw in there so that everything mixes together and I have a nice rice bowl with broccoli and sausage. And there we go. There's my first one. And I aimed for one sausage a person. Now my toddler is not going to eat a full sausage, but my husband will need more than one sausage. So it kind of balances out between the three of us to have 3 sausages in there. But of course, depending on what your protein needs are and how hungry you are as well, you can always add in more sausage to make it a filling meal. And if you have extras, hey, leftovers for lunch for the next day. Alrighty, my sausage is in there, and now we're going to mix everything together, and this is where you will see that my bowl was not big enough for this, and I kept spilling everywhere, so go with a bigger bowl. I did not expect the broccoli to take up so much space in there, but just give that a good mix all around to make sure everything gets incorporated nicely, and your dinner is ready. There you go. There is your chicken sausage, broccoli, and rice bowl. And as you can see, the rice is mixed in there, but it's not the main component. The main component really is the vegetables. There's a decent amount of protein in there with the sausage, and the rice just helps make it a more filling meal by adding some extra carbs. And I would say this comes closer to that half the plate vegetables, quarter protein, and quarter carbs that I really try to go for in order to create a balanced plate. And as you can see, even when I fill up my bowl, there's still a decent amount left in that big bowl. So this would make a filling meal for 2 people at least, I would say, with some leftovers for lunch for the next day. This was definitely enough for the 3 of us as a family, for 2 adults and a toddler. A nice, delicious meal. And you can always drizzle something else on top to add more moisture and flavor to this meal as well. There you go. Enjoy. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video helped give you ideas about how you can whip together quick and easy healthy meals that really don't require a lot of cooking by using some convenience items like the ones I shared. And thank you so much for following Healthy Made Simple. I love and appreciate all of your support. It's really been helping my channel grow. So thank you so much for staying tuned and listening to these ideas that I share about how to make healthy eating simple for you and your family. And if you haven't already done so, please make sure to hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for future videos where I will be sharing more of ideas, tips, and inspirations for how you can make healthy eating simple for breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, and everything else in between. Thanks again for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.